What's up, everybody? It's me, it's RDV, and I'm here with two old guys again.
Oh,
I feel like I should be the frog on the bottom, and you're like two old guys heckling me.
Hey, those were two of my favorite shows on the Muppet Show.
I want to be the guy who goes,
The Swedish Chef.
You mean Biden?
yeah, but whoever he is.
Yeah.
I just remember watching the movies, the Muppet movies back in the day, and like there's a guy named Simon, or Scooter. Was it Scooter or is it Simon? I can't remember what his name was. He had the glasses. And I just kept thinking, like, okay, what's the point of this guy? That's it. He has glasses. He's a nerd. It's like that's it.
Oh, he was he's the scientist assistant. I think it was the one with the little.
No, that was Mr. Beaker and Honeydew, Dr. Honeydew.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
The guy I'm talking about is he showed up randomly in the movies later on. He was Scooter.
Are Statler and Waldorf Muppets?
They're supposed to be human versions of Muppets. Yeah, Muppets. Yeah,
but they're part of the Muppets, right?
Yeah, part of the Muppet Show.
Okay, so I can identify 4 Muppets. So I said I'm the wrong person to ask. Sorry, E.
You're a man or a Muppet? I don't know, but I can say speaking of Muppets and your icon with the Winston's cigarettes. I was watching this a random video that pops up on YouTube. We always get these videos, and this guy's shop has been closed for the past 40, 50 years since the late. It closed down in the 70s, and he hasn't been back there since then. So you imagine going into a place like that. It's a place. It's a little gas station, little shop that's been open since it started in the 20s. This guy took it over from his dad, and then they closed around like this the start of the 80s. Going in there and just seeing the Winston. Right away is the Winston cigarette stuff and just everything that's in there. I was like, wow. If I was talking about American Pickers, going into a place like that, that's where I'd want to be. It was just.
I'll tell you a quick story. A friend of Jerry's, yeah, their family had I don't know what kind of store you would call it, but it sold a little bit of everything, and then stuff it didn't sell, they just put in the basement, and it just sat for decades and decades. But one of the things that didn't sell that sat in the decades, 3 mint copies each of Justice League 1, 2, and 3.
Wow.
I mean, like 9.6 or 9.8.
These are volume 1s, right?
Nothing. They weren't protected in any way. They just stayed immaculate. I think he got 6 figures for one of the sets. Fuck. And this guy is one of those, it's funny. I said, when you have money just follows you. And, so I said, he's lost it all and now he's worth millions again. So it's like, but that wouldn't happen to anybody like us. But he's down there. Couldn't care. He couldn't give 2 shits about comedy.
I've learned that there's 3 types of people. There's people who are born with money, and money just happens to happen so they get money. People give them money. Then there's people who invest and make money and build themselves up. Then there's the rest of us who's work for those 2 people.
Well, I say, Jerry's been a good friend of this guy for decades. I would have given Jerry one of the sets if I were him, but that's not the way this guy is. So
no.
Yeah. But anyway,
he sounds like Mr. Potter.
Oh, he's. I met him. Little of him goes a long way. I'll just leave it at that.
Take that however you want to take it.
Well, there's really only one way to take that.
All right. So not that many books tonight, at least for me. A lot of mine are going to be in back. Those who were on the Watch the Fossils last night, you might see some of these books come back. All right, with a little bit of new stuff this week. So without further ado, let's start this off. Because I only have 5 new books. So my number 5. Honestly, one thing that's great about this is the fact that they actually two good things. There's a couple good stories in here. Not a lot are bad. I mean, there's I would say they're mid. They're not offensively bad. But as far as the price goes, man, I got stuck paying $6 because they didn't have the cover A left. But that was my fault because, well, I got 2 flat tires, so when I got there, that's what's left. But what's really cool in here, is that you get a metamorpho story here, written by Dennis Culver and drawn by Travis Mercer, and wow, this story in here is I just love it. I kind of want more metamorpho. Dennis Culver, he's the guy who was writing the Doom Patrol, I believe, that Zach was reading. And Travis Mercer, I've never heard of him though, but
that looked good. I mean, that full page splash looked really good.
That was probably the only thing I liked about that issue was
it's kind of
the art looked good.
It's going more into his origin. I don't want to say it's really changed because I haven't really read his original Orange stuff. I know his origin a little bit, but I never really read the comic books. But
Rex was an adventurer / archaeologist that
his father was one too.
Well, I don't remember, and I don't
know.
I can't remember exactly what turned him into Metamorpho, but yeah, the fun part of that was, yeah, his girlfriend was, Sapphire Stag.
Yep.
His dad was a rich, guy didn't like Rex, and he had this thought out Neanderthal named Java, who was also in love with Sapphire. Yeah, if you lean into that and keep it light, I think I'd love to read a Metamorpho series like that.
So this Metamorpho story here is with Simon Stagg. They're going to this island of Markovia because there's a volcano about to erupt. But they said that there's a powerful an artifact here, and he wants Rex to go in there and get it for him, or get it, that would be lost time. So he ends up going in there as a favor to the king of Markovia. And it just recalls how his is
it still Geoforce? Is the king of Markovia still?
They haven't said anything like that if it's Geoforce, but
did you know that's where Markovia? That's what Batman the Outsiders was.
Yeah.
The catalyst for.
And he says in here this exactly isn't archaeology. It says I never wanted to be a bodyguard, much less a freak I transformed to. I discovered that weird meteor in the Egyptian pyramid. So I remember reading something like that. So I mean, that's still part of the thing. And that he says it before that. I was Rex Mason, soldier of fortune, following in the footsteps of my father, world-renowned archaeologist.
This also gives me the opportunity. You know who is the artist on the original Metamorpho series?
No.
Ramona Fredone, who recently retired at the young age of 97.
Wow.
Dang.
So he talks about his dad, Montana Mason, and he says, although he didn't do it for fortune and glory, unlike me, which is the bone of our contention, which basically drew a wedge in him. Basically, they end up having a falling out, and he hasn't spoke to his father since then, since he turned into a freak because he doesn't. So anyway,
I did like the Terrifics, Maranya. That was a good series.
So I do like it. We get one more folk basically going into the thing, and he's really like, hey, there's someone's been in here before. Somebody set up an actual trap. And of course, you get in here. And like I said, the big shocking reveal is that it's actually his father is on this. And he says, well, you work for, he said, son, you're blinded by your love for Stag's daughter, but Stag's an evil man. He's not allowed to have this hammer, which basically Stag never really told the Rex what the hammer could do, but it's supposed to have magical powers or something like that. So he said, basically they have a kind of heart to heart. And basically says no, give me this hammer, and then I don't want to fight you, son. And they can kind of hash things over a little bit. So and in the next page, you see the end of this short little story. That was really cool. And he's like, what do you mean you don't have the hammer? And it's oh, it was lost to the lava. And of course, it's just basically at the end. She's like his girlfriend. She's like, don't listen to him, the Rex. He doesn't really mean that. How could he? You're practically family.
I don't know how much continuity there is in this particular version of DC, but that would only be about the 47th time that Rex has that Simon sent Rex to get something that Rex shouldn't have possession of.
Yeah. But he said, about years fly us home, Java. I'll be in my quarters. Java won't disappoint. He's still a caveman. Speaking, I love him.
This sort of had a Last Crusade vibe. At least that's what it gave me. Was a little bit.
the other stupid. No, the one that's probably the most stupid story in here, of course, and you know who wrote it? It's Stephanie Williams. That is Sting Like a Bee. Basically with what's her name? It's supposed to be B, I guess it's B.
Bumblebee.
Bumblebee. She's working with her parents, I guess, or her mother, her father, and they, and turns out there's this company, which is it's a side company for Stag Industries. Basically is selling faulty medical equipment. So basically, Bumblebee goes undercover inside the area and spies on them just to get the footage, and then it's leaked to the news. Basically, that company goes out of business or ramifications. So, like I said, like turning under, I don't know if she's ever been an activist, like in the original stuff, but it just felt really weird to me.
No, but of course she is now, because look, that's what comics are. And I looked at her and I said, yeah, there's really no way to ask this and not sound like slightly racist, but is there a second hairstyle that black girls have in comics now? Or do they all have the Princess Leia?
Well, I thought Christopher Priest was in charge of this because they all look like Michael B. Jordan.
The guys all have that hair, and the girls all have the same hair. So I was like, yeah. Because I mean, I looked at her and I said, "Oh, that's Riri Williams."
Yeah, or is it Naomi?
There's Naomi. Yeah.
Or it's the Yellow Power Ranger.
For lack of imagination.
Yeah, it's like the '90s hairstyle, or the pigtails, like the she's got on. For her Bumblebee hairstyle. The last time I saw that hairstyle that was in style was on the Bill Cosby show. The little girl. Now the whole story at the end by Christopher Cantwell. That's not going to end well because this is Challengers Unknown. Now, I never personally cared for Challengers Unknown. I've also never really delved into them, but this deals with time travel and other things, and I guess they're like what supposed to be like the precursor to Fantastic Four. Challengers Unknown.
Jack Kirby came up with that about 3 years before Fantastic Four. So yeah, I guess.
Like, there's scenes in here where they're going through this portal and stuff, and then their brains are coming out of their heads and they're talking to me. It's like I said, I read through this and I still have no idea what's going on with it. At the end, it's just like it started off with a plane crash in the mountains, and then at the end, the girl shows up and she's like, basically they have a reunion and hug. It's like, okay, like I guess honestly, I lost me. I've gone through it twice. I mean, the art is cool, but it's really just doesn't really tell what's going on. And the Challengers is challenging for Christopher Cantwell. I agree.
So Christopher Cantwell's the Adam of comic book writers.
Yeah. The other main story that was in here too was this is by Mark Waid and Cullen Bunn. This is the Fifth Dimension with Batmite and Mr. Mitzi Plitzek. And he's basically called all his people together. It's kind of like a mini Justice League, and they're all fighting over basically the whole story was who's better, Green Arrow, Green Lantern, or Batman, and the one sprite, he likes Green Arrow and Green Lantern. He's like, why can't I choose both? I like them both. So that's why it's a combination. Dan Moore does the art on this. Like I said, it was cute. All right, I guess. But I would have rather had Scotty Young, working along with this. So that's kind of his thing he does. But at the end, they're attacked by the Legion of Doom and all murdered. And Mitzi Plitzek pulls Batmite, and they both escape out of there. I guess something is going around and coming and killing things. I don't know what that's supposed to be, but apparently it's supposed to continue. The story's going to continue into the main storyline. Batman and Superman World's Finest #25. So Mitzi Plitzek's coming back. Like I said though, for $6 or even just $5, $4.99, it wasn't really that great. The Challengers sucked. The Bumblebee story sucked. The Mark Waid story with Cullen Bunn was okay. But that by itself, trying to hold up a book that costs $4.99, not so well. The Rex Mason story, the Metamorpho story, was the best story in this. Like I said, I was glad that it wasn't a $10 book, because normally when DC does this, it's usually $10 for an anthology book or all the little things. Like your Batman Brave and the Bold is probably around $10 or $8. So I walked away with the Rex Mason story, but I would not recommend anybody picking this up unless you were looking for that. You're a big diehard Metamorpho fan. But even then, as Breen pointed out, it's the same cliche story told over and over and over again.
Well, I don't have a problem with that, because that's that. I mean, if it's the right formula,
yeah,
because most people wouldn't have seen that anyway. But
it ends with the Chip Zdarsky's Joker Year One preview for upcoming Batman. Yeah, I'm done. I'm done with Zdarsky. I'm done with Batman books.
Chip is past his sell-by date.
He's due for his pudding and his medication.
He's just, I said, Chip's like that guy that had, a nice middle of his career.
Yep.
But I think his best writing is behind him.
All right. My number 4 for this week, Edenwood. This is issue number 4 by Tony S. Daniel, who's actually doing the art and the writing. That was really cool. This takes place in it started. So basically, in 1980, in the 1980s, this fantasy world of Edenwood, or basically swallowed up all of Earth, and now they're pulled into the dimension. Now it's called Edenwood, and there's and this kid's just he's missing his parents. He just reunited with his friends. It's been 20 years, and the guy in the front here is actually his armor he got from somebody else, his mentor. And this story, and this is basically the story of the armor and where that guy got that armor from. It turns out a witch basically granted this, because basically it's everyone versus like these demons. The demons are basically trying to take over, and it's a war between the witches and the vampires and the demons, and all humanity got pulled into this. And so he learns that his mentor is actually a demon that was given armor by a witch to avenge his fallen comrades and families, because he didn't agree with what the demons were doing. And plot twist at the end, it's revealed that the kid who basically took on his mentor's armor, we still don't know what happened to his mentor, but at the end it showed up that the guy who we thought died, the witch, did get armor, and he wants his armor back. I said it's beautiful art here, at least for Tony S. Daniel. And he's come across some of his friend Lexington, because they all got time displaced in Edenwood. Like she wound up back during the Revolution, and in different parts of Edenwood, time travels differently. So that's why she's called Lexington. That's where she landed. And of course, there's monsters in here too. There's demons, vampires, and just betrayal. A lot of gore. And all this kid wants to do is find his girlfriend. For the past 20 years, he's been trying to find his girlfriend, who he
Kinda
chased
sounds like
after.
Zach.
Zach knows who his girlfriend is. That's why he's not here all the time. Because he'd rather spend time with a girl, which is okay. But he could have bro time too, though. But anyway, for a book, originally I had no idea what was kind of going on. As of now, by issue 4, I kind of understand more. But then again, don't hold it by me. I would check the series out for yourself. I'm kind of slow when it comes to stuff like some of this stuff. I admit I'm not that bright. I'm not educated as some other people are. But I thought I'd give it a shot. Tony Daniel doing an actual book by himself for the first time. So I figured, why not? I love his art. And sometimes I want to see what artists are when they write. So. All right. Number 3. Sheena, Queen of the Jungle, Fatal Exams, or Final Exams, whatever you prefer. I'm kind of liking this. Now, I'm not sure if this would be a 6 issue or a 5 issue, but there's people getting eaten by panthers. There's people there.
It ends at 5.
Is this supposed to be the ending?
Yes.
I kind of liked it, but I was really heavy in some of the exposition.
It's funny. I was actually going to bring this up to Joe. So this was like a combination of an EC comic and something Roy Thomas would have written, and I knew that one of my attention deficit disorder friends was going to bitch about it. Congratulations.
It wasn't too bad. I'm just saying, I noticed that this issue was written by Joe Corallo.
It's wordy as fuck.
It felt like it was Joe Corallo. I'm sorry. Joe Corallo.
Joe's not that wordy.
No, but when he gets the history part, though, we're talking about this.
But
it
wasn't just, look at that. But that fit the rest of the book. There was.
It did. It wasn't like Michael Bendis where he just
I'm saying,
part of the book.
The dialogue was it was exposition heavy through the entire issue. But the difference between that and the Bendis book, this was actually saying stuff.
Well, and that's true. This is like a book, and instead of taking like a 5-second read, this game takes you at least good 3 or 4 minutes to get through. But like I said, it's not a slog.
No, it was that. This was my favorite issue of the 5.
But if I saw this and I knew nothing about the book, I'd be like, "Ooh, I'm kind of stepping back a little bit."
It was also the best art of the 5, I thought.
I think so too. Yeah,
that's the best job that. Like everybody's really hit their stride with this one.
Like I said, she's trying to figure out what's going on, why these people are being under some kind of subliminal messages. They got the police coming after them. Her crew. It's kind of like Mission Impossible. She's like the leader, and she's got her ragtag with support crew, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. Obviously, find out at the bottom that there's actually something below the actual school where they are.
Yeah.
And so and so is trying to look for treasure, and unlike most books, like I said, I like that everybody in the act. It's called Sheena. It's called Sheena. Sheena is the main character, but her supporting staff cast actually gets time to breathe too as well. It's kind of like the early Spider-Man books,
Best part about that, the girl that she was running around with, didn't turn on her.
I was waiting for that.
I know, and I would have that would have absolutely ruined the series for me.
And the hero is like, some girl's not gonna, stupid girl, you stupid. He calls you stupid witch. You mean bitch?
Yeah.
And like I said, I just love it. It's like, and that's the whole exposition we showed you before, talking about the past, about how this ritual of the emperor, that took over everything, the land area, was imprisoning people. How he died and something struck his heel. That comes back because she tells stories like, remember the thing? Well, I have something else that that comes out in night. And I just love it because the show is like, yeah, he's not gonna be a problem anymore. We found this. But honestly though, it's refreshing to see bad guys being killed.
It's good art.
It really. I was kind of like wishy-washy on the art throughout the series. This was legitimately good. And I said, like I said, if you look at the bottom, the tiny, last panel, it says end.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I see it now.
But I'll say
it ends with Red Sonja's ass on the next page.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about the end when I turned the page and saw that end.
But like I said, this was kind of fun. And I'm trying to who was writing this again? This was Sheena Reboot by Stephen E. Souza, but it's written by Wes Clark.
But Stephen Souza, I think, has the rights to the character.
Yeah, Wes Clark Jr. was writing it.
Yeah, and let's credit the editing and packaging, because without the editing and packaging, you don't have the series.
He edited it and then he packaged it every single book personally.
Exactly. He delivered mine to
Joe's
my house.
DNA is on this book.
That's right.
I could create my own Joe Corallo. Like the episode, it's like an episode like, this is Leonard Nimoy's DNA on this book.
I can create my own clone.
Oh, yes. And then the art is by Ediano Silva. like I said, this actually was really good. I'm usually leery at some of these other titles, that aren't Red Sonja or Vampirella, and I'm glad that they're actually Zenoscope does some good stuff. This is Dynamite.
No. I was adding that to your list of things that if it's not to be wary of.
Well, no, but Dynamite in general. Dynamite has a lot of bad books with good ideas, but they don't execute properly.
It sounds like you're better. You like this one better than some of the other Dynamite stuff that's been out, just because this is a better quality. Like the Umbrella stuff as of late.
Like I said, I like Sheena, but I also like the Tarzan book that came out last year.
Sheena has suffered from "I am woman, hear me roar."
Yes,
for the past 10 years, where she's been a feminazi, and this was a more human. This was a more likable character.
Yes,
she wasn't a total girl boss bitch.
No. And I said that I wouldn't mind having Tarzan or Sheena team up or something, like they're crossing over dynamic. With these.
I have no interest in that, because they're two different. Well, it's two different worlds. So I said, yeah. Although Tarzan and John Carter works for some reason, so maybe that would.
Honestly, like I said, I like the fact it's. We've also watched those movies like Beastmaster or even the Tarzan movies. And just it's not just her being like, I'm an environmentalist, everything else sucks, she's not a snob, although she admitted to me, her friend, he's like, wow, your friend kept sucking down those milkshakes or whatever the shakes she was eating. She's like, how the hell do you have so many of those?
Best Tarzan movie ever was Greystoke with Christopher Lambert.
I still haven't seen the new one, but
the best Tarzan movies were when he went to the city and he was played by that guy who used to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. There were three of them. It's like mid-60s.
I don't know that one.
Number 2, which is also a flip book.
Oh, you know what? I kind of like that. That's I recognize. I think it might be like a Super Patriot homage or something, but or more than likely a Savage Dragon.
But it's by some guy named Valentino. Is the artist
Jim Valentino?
Yeah,
he's the original Image founder.
Okay, that makes more sense.
One of the lesser known ones, I guess.
They brought him there not for his talent. They brought him there to be the adult in the room, and that's true. And like he was one, like the bean counter and stuff like that. And he stayed for 30. It was also, you 90s Marvel kids like him because he was also doing the Guardians.
Okay. Yeah,
because they needed an editor because they were just getting to the point where they couldn't get shit out.
So he's their lives. Currently vice president of Image. Mark Silvestri is listed as chief executive officer and president Todd McFarlane, and Eric Larson is in charge of finance. But I love that chief operating officer is now Robert Kirkman. So maybe Kirkman will put some more life into Image books. I don't know. Unless he's only focusing on the Energon universe.
Well, they're creator owned. There's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
I think Image is doing pretty well for itself. Like I said, between the Energon and Ghost Machine, I think they'll be fine. I'll tell you what, I'm not kidding. Yeah, I saw it today where Katie Kubert is now the editor of the Batman line.
I saw that. Now,
and
she could be a bad editor. I mean, my whole point. I know.
Have you seen what she's responsible for?
No, I have not. But
she was.
Can I answer real quickly before?
Sure, absolutely.
Tell me. When it comes to editors, you could have a great editor or you could have a horrible editor. To me, it doesn't matter if the writer is actually writing it doesn't know how to write.
Yeah, but that's where I was going with it. She's the one that hired T. Franklin for the Eat, Kill, Bang. She's the one that. Oh God, what's the other one? Oh geez, something recent. Oh crap, I can't believe It's like her hiring choices are just brutal. But I'm saying where I was going with that. If they're not careful, Image was outselling DC 30 years ago. That might happen again.
I think it will, especially with. I think Dark Horse is going to be.
She hired Tim Sheridan and gave him the green light to do that to Alan Scott.
So, so this is actually been really good. This is actually, like I said, if you have not read Local Man, this is the book that you need to be reading. It is just fun, entertaining. And it's written by two guys that I've never really read anything other than, well, I'd say Tony Fleeks is one of the guys. He's also the artist, does art here too as well. I never read Stray Dogs, but I heard everybody loves Stray Dogs. Now, that being said, I don't know because the actual store or just because all the covers. I heard the covers were really big with him, the homages to all the different movies. But his art's pretty decent as well in here, interior art. Now, the other guy is Tim Seeley, who created Hack Slash. Not the nicest guy, at least on Twitter, when it comes to politics stuff. He's kind of a douche. But he's not putting any of his politics or any of his ideology in the book, which is really awesome. Because I like to keep comic books separate from your ideology, at least as far as when it comes to politics and all that stuff. Now, before anybody says, yes, I know that Neil Neal and Neil Adams did the Green Lantern series, back in the day. But it wasn't in your face. It wasn't every issue.
What, Green Lantern?
Yeah.
Oh, it was absolutely in your face. That was.
But not like today, though. I wouldn't say it's no.
It was more in your face in 1970, or as in your face as anything done today. But the difference is,
but they didn't ruin the characters, though. That's my
right.
Thing.
There was that was at a time when Democrats and Republicans could get along with each other, liberals and conservatives could get along with each other, because they basically wanted the same thing. They just differed on how to get there. Progressives and conservatives don't want the same things. That's why there's no common ground anymore. But yeah, for its time, it was absolutely heavy-handed.
Yeah. So anyway, this starts off basically with this girl walking in here. She's like, are you sure, Mackenzie? She's like, Craig, just go. Okay. And person drives away, and she's walking. She's left behind, and here I'm coming, and the water splash, and it's really cool. It's like, so then you see she gets drowned by what used to be a former fourth gen member, who now looks like basically like a water sprite, like a demon. And now she wants revenge for being left to die. And you see the main guy, basically Local Man, talk to his ex-girlfriend, who's also the sheriff's wife, saying, I know everything you did with fourth gen. You're a monster. How could you do that and stuff? And of course, she gets off the phone, hangs the phone with him, and it's, and she's talking to his dad. She hands him, because she owns a muffin shop, she hands him something to eat. Meanwhile, he finally gets arrested by her husband, who's a sheriff. He slips out that he was sleeping with the sheriff's wife. So now they even got that riff going on. And in order to escape prison, he just takes off his shoe and he stands there. He's like, one of these days we got to have a heart-to-heart conversation about this. He basically ends up throwing the shoe, knocking him out. Now the guy who's the only guy in town who's at Uber and he's with the lifts up, is always saying fuck Crestcheck. He hates him, but he's like, you know what? Hop in because the last time with you, I got my insurance company gave me a brand new truck, so I like you.
Mm.
So it's a redeeming. So he kind of has a heart. He kind of talks him a little bit, and the guy gives what you're dealing with. It's like you're dealing with with a water sprite. He's like, he says this is a fae. He's like, what? What you got here is one of the fae, aka fairy, Viola, or more accurately, a water sprite. They got powers over lakes and streams. Sometimes will wear humans' hosts like a skin. Usually though, real nice. So, he's like, me and my brother have been playing Dungeons and Dragons a bunch. So he tells him with that. And of course, yeah.
I was just going to bring up that Maranya summed it up.
Yeah.
Pretty spot on. The point with Green Lantern, Green Arrow was back in the day that each was representative of each side, but both sides of the issue were presented, and the reader was left to decide who was right.
So, anyway, she's actually, now his ex-girlfriend, Igna, is running for, she wants to be mayor of the town. She's retired. She's basically become an evil villain, a villain now. And she's running over, she created a new Slick. This is a Slick Boy 2.0. She's creating another fourth gen team, trying to do that, and of course, things start going wrong. Local man at Crosscheck goes. He finds out his dad is dead. and she think mom thinks he had a heart attack, but we know better. He was poisoned, pretty much. Because we see in the back of the bottom there, you see the food. And throughout this whole entire time, because it's Stray Dogs, the writer, he draws a little dog in there. That's his parent. It's his family. The pet dog. It always goes wrong with Crosscheck wherever he goes. I kind of love it. So they have a heart to heart. You know, they're confronted. She's confronted by not only her husband and getting attacked by the former member. He says like, "I know what you did." He says like, you know, it's like you're a bitch, basically. I'll go. I love it because the villain's plan goes out of hell. She ends up having to leave town, especially after her husband, you know, calls her a slut and all that crap. So she ends up leaving. But the great thing is the fact that I love that Crosscheck actually takes time to talk to the former fourth gen monster that's in here, and basically tell us like, you know, it's okay. It's like, you know, you were wrong stuff, you know. Basically gives a heart to heart, and she stops doing, but only after he throws a horseshoe at her, because Iron's supposed to, like, apparently to the guy who plays on dragons, Iron's supposed to like negate their powers. So at the end, though, Igna gets the last laugh from the secret facility where Crosscheck was forced to go against that army guy. You see some where he actually killed him because the guy was going to kill him. So she releases that to the news just to fuck him over. So now he's wanted for murder. Basically, at the last, she gets the last laugh, and then we get the little flashback here. Her working with Camel and building the team, and then just everything behind the scenes is being filled in by Tony Fleeks writing the backstory. And this has been a fun book, man. This is a book I never would have picked up. Curtis, aka Skipitosh, recommended this book, and I just jumped on it one day, and I just haven't looked back since then. If you love 90s classic image books, just superhero origins, like they said, like the ex-girlfriend who got jealous because her boyfriend left to join like the Avengers or something like that, and she's left behind in a small town of Farmington. So she decided to make something of herself. And like now she's the bad guy, and she's working for this other organization trying to create superheroes for them. So now she's on the run. Like I said, it's a fun series. Check it out if you haven't done so. All right, my number 1 is Duke. Just have more fun with this. A lot more comedy, and that's one of the things I look for when it comes to books. I love the humor, but it's not forced humor. Like when I say humor, I don't mean like the stupid MCU where everything is humorous. It starts off. We got a guy here. He's basically getting his a text. He sees, you know, what's going on, and he sees this. Is basically his friend is basically even wanted for murder on the run. You know, and he walks into his apartment. You know, or their little, of course, the junkyard. Pours himself coffee, and then he hears a voice. Says, you know. He's like, why don't you pour me one? It's supposed to be clutch, apparently fired. He says, why don't you pour me one? When you get the 80s, you know, little arm grab. Oh, he saw him come, what was it? Predator. Of course, he can't remember his girlfriend's name, so she slaps him and leaves away. They walk away. They end up, Duke realizes Duke's hurt. They end up working together, only to realize that the perimeter's been breached by Rock and Roll and Stalker, who were hunting them down. So, and you get it's basically a whole thing, and leads up to basically high-speed chase in the car. Tires get blown out. Duke says, like, I'm not gonna go down with it. He's like, you know, it's like I'll eat people like you for breakfast. It's basically, it's very heavily 80s. It feels like where they're going. That's because it's supposed to be the 80s. Of course, he says, it's his head kicked off. He's dragged to a secret facility called the Pit, and they kind of show you everything that's going on in there. And he's saying, you can't leave us in there. And his friend, he's like, Crankshaft, he's like, why the hell am I here? He's like, because you were abetting a felony. He's like, oh. And he says, and he hears a voice like, you and I have common goals. You want freedom. I want freedom. Perhaps we can come to an arrangement. get the Baroness introduced. Honestly, I'm curious to see where this is going to go because I do like the fact that though that Duke is pretty much this is before G.I. Joe. Duke is not he felt that Hawk was lying to him about everything about the Transformer or the Decepticon that killed his pilot friend that was taking him across, and they're covering it up so he can across the rug. And he wants answers. He stumbles across in the first stage comes across Cobra under the and before it was called Cobra, and it's just like the whole thing Mars industry. And honestly, I'm curious to see where this is going to go. So I just been having fun with this. I kind of like these, where it's like I guess you'd say it's a man against the government, and I don't know where it's gonna go. But I mean, like I said, it's gonna ramp up here. Eventually, we're gonna get the formation of the Joes because we got the viewers are reading Cobra. It's kind of tying loosely into this as well. They're building up to Josh Williamson with Tom Riley doing the art on here. I'm having a lot of fun with this. That's why it's my number one. That is it for new issues this week. If you want, I'll do my back issues, or if you guys want to go first, and then
no, that's fine. It's wonder where our wayward son. He's usually here by now.
He has the link, but he might be running late. That's all I know. He has the link. All right. So, all right. These are the trades I've been collecting from Half Price Books. Two of them I got from my shop the other day. Alrighty. So, honestly, I was surprised by this when I found this. This is a 90s little trade. Came out in 1997 or around there. And it's basically just Riddler and Batman stories from throughout the years. It has Detective Comics 66, The Crimes of Two-Face. And then it has in Detective Comics 68, The Man Who Led a Double Life. Story by Bill Finger. Then it has The Riddler, originally presented in Detective Comics 140. Then The Riddler's Robberies of the Riddler, Batman 179, The Riddler's Prison Puzzle Problem, Detective Comics 377, Original Sins, The Secret Origin Special #1, which also has 75 through 81, 100, 127 through 129. Story by Neil Gaiman. The Killing Pack by Alan Grant. Then he has okay. These are the different stories they have here, popping up here. But it also has Alan Grant with art by Sam Keith, Neil Gaiman, and Bernie Miralt and Matt Wagner. One is The Door, The Secret Origin of the Riddler. Then it has The Eye of the Beholder, which is basically the story. Has Batman Annual number 14. Andrew Helfer and Chris Sprouse and Steve Mitchell do the art on there. And then this cover gallery by Bob Kane, Bill Adams, Brian Boland. And then indexes. It's a lot of cool stuff. And it's all on your newsprint type papers. Kind of like this. Yeah. So I said, I love the fact that I can get these all here instead of like go up, spend like $150 for an omnibus. And then it throws in new stuff. I love all the older stuff. So that's one of the trades I got. Then there's the greatest stories, Joker stories ever told, which is actually a reprint. This is the 90s reprint of an 88 trade that came out. And yeah, this has here. Should list. Joker's Dozen. An introduction by Mike Gold, Batman vs. the Joker, which is Batman #1, Batman #4. Then it has The Joker and the Sparrow, which is presented in the newspaper comic book strip in syndication back in 1948. The Man Behind the Red Hood, Detective Comics 168, Joker's Crime Costumes, which is Batman 63, Batman 78. Then there's World's Finest Comics 61. There's so many different stories in here. I just goes on. It says he has all the different book covers, introduction by Mike Gold. So, like I said, I could find older books like this, older Bama books. These are always cool, so I have fun reading these. All right, and then I came across this at my half price books. I thought it was just a book. I had no idea because I don't remember it, but apparently this is the one that comes with the movies. So that was kind of cool. This is one of my favorite Batman Superman as far as stories.
Sweet.
Yep. Public Enemies. All right, and then we have Supergirl Archives #1.
Is that the one where she falls in love with the pony?
I imagine it's in there somewhere. There's 2 volumes. It was only 2 volumes of the Archives. This is volume 1.
They just stopped doing them. They didn't finish by any means.
Yeah. So, 3 Magic Wishes of the Girl of Steel, Superman 123 from 1958. DC Comics and House announcing DC Comics House ad announcing the first appearance of Supergirl in Action Comics. And there's Supergirl from Krypton, Action Comics 252. Then they have Action Comics 253, 254, 255, 256. As well as... All right. Then they have 257, 58, 59, 60. The Girl Super Baby by writer Otto Binder and with art by Jim Mooney. Then February 1960 came out with Action Comics 261, 262. Then they has Action Comics 63, 64, 65, 266, 267, 268. So, inside.
That the first appearance in 252. One of the times I went to Dayton, it's probably about 20 years, maybe 20, a little over 20 years ago. Found it, I think, for $150. 2 years ago, I saw one in way worse condition at a show for $1,800.
Wow.
Yeah, we're not going to own the first appearance of Supergirl again in this lifetime.
Yeah. Like I said, it's just.
Do you still have it?
Oh God, no! I when I sold my collection, that went with it.
And this is kind of cool that they actually collected some of these actually into stuff because like, as much as I love the Action Comics stuff, I love reading the Supergirl stuff collected all together.
There are 2 omnibuses of Supergirl that gets right up to the Adventure Comics series that started with issue 381. Hello, Zach.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
So, because that's like the first half of the first omnibus.
Okay.
So if you and there's also a
Peter Lorre is Supergirl.
Yes. No, it's
that's actually that's Frank Miller drawing, by the way.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
But they also the Supergirls. There were trades that paperbacks that broke them into 2, so you can pick up the second one and have everything without having to duplicate.
Zach, we should try this sometime.
With who?
Yeah, I'll throw you.
No.
That sort of looks like the fastball special.
Well, that's it. That's an example of super dickery.
Yep. Yeah. Very fun stuff.
No,
right.
It's Thursday night. Maranya, I was in Bible study. It just ran long tonight.
So was it Bible study with Don Johnson from Miami Vice from the 80s?
I don't watch Miami Vice.
It
That reference is lost on me.
It was tonight on Bible Vice.
I don't know, but got this too. This was at my shop. They got 6 more if you guys want one.
Nice.
So
we'll tell Zach there's a Ryan North story in there. Get him interested.
You know what?
Though?
I might be getting a Ryan North story.
That's right. I'm converting him. The
the cover
preview
only.
for issue number 19 looks phenomenal.
I need new sons.
It looks like a pulp detective story. Sue's in a dress. Looks great.
It was like they basically saw what Brubaker is doing with all the pulp covers and art from Jacob Phillips, John Phillips. And they're like, you know what? There might be money in this if we print covers like this. And Alex Ross is doing the cover, so it was which isn't a shocker.
He's been doing the covers though. That's not new.
But I'm saying like that style though was cool. I love this, the interior. So
You can't have that anymore. You can have all the characters you want with guns, but heaven forbid that you have them smoking. You won't do that anymore.
it includes the ads. I love that. So yeah, like I said, I very fun stuff. Well, we got looks like the Flying Graysons. Just kidding. But this is all paper too, which I kind of like, Breen. It's all regular newsprint paper. It's not that glossy paper.
So, yeah, Zach, I may get this too and do with it like I did with the George Perez variant and just seal it up. Wow, this is a nice cover.
Right? Isn't it?
Eyes on the prize there. Get back to this awesome PS art book.
Yeah.
Damn, if we were doing one of our readings, somebody'd be going, ha cha cha.
Probably Ronnie when she sees that. And then, of course, we get to the issue that's in the cover.
That's actually one of the most expensive Charlton books. I think Steve might actually have that.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. The guy, he said, you have this? He's like you, but he pulls out like something really, really cool too on his couch. He's like, I just restored this. It was in a fire, underwater, in a submarine, and I just decided to put it together with these using bubblegum and paperclip, like MacGyver. That's
I don't think any of my any of the half price books near me have gotten any strange suspense stories, which sucks because I like this. I have several. Do you know what character was introduced in that?
Doctor Strange,
Captain Adam. It's
Charlie.
And then he got up. They brought him back, and he didn't debut in that. I think he debuted in maybe Space Adventures. But...
Wait. I'm being told I'm careful because Dr. Wortham says that those books will rot my mind and make me engage in antisocial behavior. I already am antisocial. This is the most social I am.
But yeah, the Captain Adam series started in that book, and then in issue 82 was the first appearance of Ted Kord.
That's what I want to read, the original Blue Beetle stories back in the day in the Charlton books.
Well, the original Blue Beetles were, God, I can't remember what company had it first. When it was Dan Garrett.
Yeah. We might read some of these on the channel.
I thought you said you only got 3 or 4 books.
These are back issues, man.
These are back issues, bro. I said, yeah.
You didn't say that when you messaged me. You were like, oh, we got a short list or short poll.
Yeah, short pull list. These are stuff I got before that. I got these last week.
I love that old-fashioned art and stuff like that.
Oh, last week. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's
actually over the weekend, Saturday, I got them. So.
That is such great art and those old horror stuff like that, those comics.
Yeah.
I miss it.
Of course, because you had to see it again. It's in the back. So. But wait, there's more. Because Zach complained. All right. My mini little copy of Classic Illustrated. So if you want to read this, if you want to read this on the go, that's how small this book is. That's really small. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and Trusty of all people showed me. He's like, oh, last night I'm off and reading. He's like, oh, you have that? He showed you like 6 more. He collected. Came out. Like I said, those are cool, and it's art. So little pocket story. So if you're ever traveling and you want to read a book, there you go. Little Classic Illustrated. He includes all the stuff in the back too as well, which would be normally in the trade, or not trade, but the issue. So fun stuff. It was like $1 for that.
Nice.
All right, Zach. You ready? Zach doesn't like it apparently.
I mean,
Jonah Hex.
have we talked? I was just trying to think if we talked about Jonah Hex.
You don't like Jonah Hex?
No, I like Jonah Hex. I'm just like, I'm reading the Palmiotti run.
Oh, you should read this run. And then follow
It
up.
looks like Festus from Gunsmoke on the cover.
And then follow up with this one. Michael Fleischer run.
I don't know who that is.
I'm not sure Junior's ready for that run yet.
I know.
Who's Michael Fleischer on?
Do you like the guy who created Superman stories? The cartoons, remember?
The writer of the animated series?
The animated?
I don't know if he's related to Dave or Max or not.
I would imagine so. But very fun.
He did.
I appreciate an artist who can draw a good horse.
Have you ever read?
Immaculate.
Have you ever read the Adventure Comics Spectre series?
He did a Spectre series too.
Where it was the most ruthless version of the Spectre. Let's put it this way: this Spectre would not have been hugging it out with Alan Scott.
He'd be killing Alan Scott.
Not for being gay, just for being a twit
and getting in his way. Because the whole thing of Spectre, he kills people.
Yeah,
he doesn't say.
And there are some creative ways that he did. Yeah, Fleischer was not even close to right in the head.
That was the guy he turned into wood. The other guy he turned into a skeleton on the plane.
That
is wild.
I highly recommend it. They only take up half of each issue, so they're quick reads. And Jim Aparo did the art when he was very, very good.
If you don't have this or never seen this before, you need to check it out, Zach.
I've never heard of Les Daniels.
He's basically, that's what he did. He wrote stuff like this. I think he did one for DC also.
Wow. Wait, what? Wait, is this like a history or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
I don't have that one. I think somewhere I do have like a history of Marvel through the ages. And
Les Daniels has never heard of you either, so make it fair.
I don't care.
Let's say this is like basically like all the different characters, information about them.
Mm-hmm.
Includes this monster story.
Great story.
Back with the Fantastic Four.
One of the best stories ever penned.
We also get in front of that though is some classic Marvel stories. The first one being Submariner. Some stories. These are full stories together with commentary on the side. Those are really cool. You want to see early Neymar. That's what you're getting. And then and then the next story they have in the back too as well, Spider-Man versus the Vulture. So apparently I was told that there, and here in the book here it says he's never been reprinted or put in a print form. Duel to the Death, it says with the Vulture originally appeared in Amazing Spider-Man 2 number 2. This is the key story in the development of Spider-Man, who had previously fought crooks and spies, now tests himself against his first super villain. Stanley, an artist, Dickel used the full splash page as a poster to advertise a battle of good against evil and the youth against age, set high above the rooftops of New York skyscrapers. So, like I said, you get the story here. You get the Ditko faces. Like I said, I love this. This commentary and stuff, and there's a story with the Thing at the end. like I said, this is a freaking huge book though too, which is nice. This is but I just like everything in the back here. You get stories about all the different books coming out, titles about like 17. I think it's like 17 different titles. You get the Conan the Barbarian. So basically, if you want like stuff on early Marvel, this is like a nice little encyclopedia with a lot of information.
First 30 years.
Yep. And why did I just see it? I just yes. This has one of the coolest things ever too. Is stuff talking about the tomb of Dracula. Yeah. So very fun. All right, whoever wants to go next, with their books.
Zach, you might as well go next. You already have your camera turned on.
It'll be short. I only have
You
3 books
volunteer?
this week. I was voluntold.
Then why'd you hold up 4 fingers?
There's your 3.
I just
3
want to make sure
fingers.
you were paying attention.
Yeah. All right. I was not able to get one of the books that is normally on my pull list. My shop actually ran out of them. They only had the variant, which would have been like $30. I wasn't about to spend $30 on it. But it was the World's Finest Annual, which
Really?
I read. I read it. Yeah, they sold out of all the main covers.
Isn't having a pull list guarantee that you get the book that you want? That's kind of the point of a pull list.
Yeah.
It's unfortunately not that simple.
Yeah.
Because most comic shops at this point are operating on a shoestring budget. If it gets added to a pull list after the orders have gone out, by the time the new books come in, because I've seen we have one guy that does that. It takes him all of Tuesday to do it, and it's unfortunately it takes too long, I guess, to computerize it to where you can just get a printout. But then even if you can do that, there's no guarantee you have that many issues because you get shorted from the distributors constantly.
Yep.
So unfortunately, I said it's real easy to get pissed. But as somebody that's been on both sides of that, I know why books don't always get into your pull list.
Which one was $30? Because this was the other variant they had.
That wasn't the one. That wasn't the one that they had.
Okay.
That was $30.
I'm just curious because my shops did not have any of the $30 banners. Sounds like you're like a scam.
The owner of this shop likes to overprice some books. He likes to sell them a little above, mark market value.
Yes.
But like I said, I read it. I liked half of the book. The Batmite story, the Justice League Might story was hysterical.
Yeah.
I laughed my butt off in that. That was a funny story.
I like both. What's wrong with both?
That was hysterical, man. I loved it. That was a great story. And then the Metamorpho story was also really good. Dennis Culver wrote a really good story there.
That's what I said. We went over it. That was my favorite story out of the whole entire thing.
Yeah.
I didn't care for Challengers. I didn't care for the Bumblebee, which was the worst.
Challengers I could like, but it would have to be longer. It felt like he tried to squeeze like a 2 or 3 issue arc into a quarter of a book. The art was good, and I liked some of the concepts of stuff. It was really weird.
I had no idea what was going on.
Exactly.
It was like HP Lovecraft horror, and I just like, okay.
Which I've been on a Lovecraft kick the last week or so I'm okay with Lovecraft horror. But it was like he tried to fit too much into this one little quarter of a book, and it wasn't enough page room. By contrast, the Bumblebee story could have been like 5 or 6 pages. It could have been much shorter. She could have condensed it down. The art was good. The art was good, and the story wasn't terrible. I would have made some tweaks here and there to polish it up, but no, the 2 best stories were the first half of the book. So, and I wasn't about to spend $30 on a variant.
Order in the court. I'll have this.
But I did get these 3, but I got a DC, a Marvel, and an Image. And in that order, here we go. I did get the Batman and Robin annual, which is funny because I'm not even reading this book regularly. But this one was really good. This has Howard Porter art. It's Joshua Williamson. Batman and Robin go camping because Bruce says he wants to bond with Damian over camping. And so they end up out at this campground, which unknowingly is a game reserve where roulette gets these hunters and mercs and people and gets them to pay. Like it's like hunting. You know how you pay for a hunting license and everything? Roulette gets these bad guys to pay to hunt people.
The most dangerous game.
The most dangerous game. So it's Bruce Wayne and Damian. They don't know Batman and Robin. They're like, hey, Bruce Wayne and his son are camping. So Roulette charges all these hunters extra to go kill them. It's like, okay, first one to kill Batman gets this huge prize amount, and whoever kills Robin, they get the next hunt for free or something like that. Or Damian, not Robin. She doesn't know he's Robin. But then Bloodsport. So the thing I really like about this is the two villains, Roulette and Bloodsport. They're not your typical Bat villains. It's not Joker, Clayface, whatever. It's two refreshing non-Bat villains. So Bloodsport's like, I'll kill him for free, and of course they don't. Batman and Robin, they figure out what's going on and set a bunch of Predator-style traps to catch all the hunters. It's really fun. The art is really good.
Do it. Kill me now.
I like the canon. They reference back to, because the last time Bloodsport was at anything was in that Earth 3 Titans crossover last year.
Yeah.
So they reference that. So good on them for keeping up with canon and stuff. But it was a good story. Good story in this. I enjoyed it. Josh Williamson, you're doing good work, man. Next book up, Marvel Secret Wars, or Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars, Battle World. This is issue number 3, continuing with the Todd Knock variants. I don't know, man. Todd Knock, whenever he draws adults, they just look like older teenagers to me. It's weird. Todd Knock does great with kids, but his adults always look like slightly older. Anyway, or slightly older kids. But anyway, this was fun. This was really cool. So all of the bad guys fight all of the villains, and it's like everyone has their dance partner, so to speak. And so, they banter with each other. It's the vibes going back to the original Secret Wars are very strong in this. So really fun reading. They have Hobgoblin versus Vulture and Electro. The way they beat Electro is hysterical. I don't want to spoil it too much. This is a blast of a read, though.
Did they use water?
No, they use Iceman. Iceman gets
I know.
blasted. Oh, did you read this?
No, but I'm saying
it
makes sense they'd use Iceman because he's water.
Basically. No, oh no, I'm sorry. They don't use Iceman. Excuse me, I misspoke. Absorbing Man, Iceman throws an icicle at Absorbing Man, and Absorbing Man turns to ice, and then Johnny Storm blasts him and turns
the water.
Johnny Storm or Electro, one of the two, blasts him, and then melts, and then Electro zaps himself.
So it was water.
It was water, but it was it was fun. It was a really fun read. I'm really enjoying this. Shocking, right? Ha ha ha. Number 1 book of the week, though. Y'all aren't surprised. It's Duke number 2. The other Josh Williamson book. This was fantastic.
Josh Williamson book.
This had some great action scenes. It had some callbacks, some Easter eggs hidden in here. Location that is very near and dear to Joe fans. You get a big character introduction at the end. Kind of a shock. Not a shocker. I kind of knew who it was when they were.
I need more Crankshaft.
Wait, you mean more who?
Crankshaft, the guy in the beginning.
Clutch.
Clutch.
Yeah,
Clutch.
Crankshaft, Clutch. It's all car stuff.
220, 221, whatever it takes.
Yeah, whatever. Really, really good though. I think what's gonna happen is Duke is gonna, they are gonna end up. I believe where they're going. He is gonna end up becoming the leader of the Joes.
Clutch is funny. He's like, it's like I build everything for you and you crash it. He's like, so I'm driving.
Yep. Really fun. I like the way they did rock and roll. Rock and roll and Stalker were really cool in this issue. And then next issue, there's a character that's introduced on the very last page.
We already did. We talked about it.
We talked about Baroness? Okay.
If they have a character
in the pit, the pit was cool.
If they have a character named Rock and Roll, they need to have the sidekicks named Hoochie Coo. I mean, that's just the way it should be.
Well, this isn't new. This is G.I. Joe that's been around since the 80s.
Yeah, this guy's been around.
Unmuted your microphone for that.
I know, right?
Yeah, I should be punished.
But anyway, it was really, really great issue. Really great story. I'm liking the little letters in the back too. The little letters that Josh Williamson's writing in the back. Those are really fun.
Jim Sorensen asking, when does Secret Wars take place? I think in between.
Secret Wars, yeah. So the miniseries right now, it takes place during the original story. So if you go back and you read the original story from Jim Shooter and Bob Layton, it takes place right after Spider-Man gets the black suit. And so, like, right after he gets the black suit, it's like there's a panel that's like sometime later, and it's Spider-Man walking in to meet the rest of the heroes. This takes place prior to that sometime later. Like the Beyonders teleport Spider-Man and the Human Torch to another area of Battle World where they're duking it out with these other villains. So, and Electro's not a scientist, Rhaegar. I think he was just like an electrician.
Yeah, he was. He was an electrician.
Yeah. They gave him some kind of new gizmo or doodad too that makes him make basically like Green Lantern. He can turn electrical currents into items. It's like he makes like a fist out of electricity and punches someone with it. But yeah, and then Baron Zemo has a tank and shoots Johnny with like putty or something. It's really cool. Johnny has this moment where like he gets hit with fire extinguisher putty or something. He's like, well, everything has a melting point, so he just burns brighter and melts it off. It's really, really well written. But yeah, that's all I had this week. Just the 3 books. My wallet was very happy.
No back issues.
No back issues.
Nothing else you'd like to share with us?
I had tacos for dinner.
Unless you're planning to throw them up, then that would be no.
No, I'm not planning to throw them up.
Okay, then you will not be sharing that with us.
I'm done. Yeah, no, not going to share that with you.
All right. So.
Yeah, Jim. So most of the heroes. So there's Daredevil, Falcon, and Iceman. Those 3 weren't in the original story, and then most of the villains, except for Absorbing Man, weren't in the original story. What this is the Beyonder takes Spider-Man. Well, not the Beyonder, it's the other Beyonders, because they revealed recently that there are multiple Beyonders, and that the Secret Wars Beyonder was an anomaly. Oh yeah, that was a while ago. But what happened was
did it happen after 2012?
Yeah. So it didn't happen.
Right.
So yeah, when Spider-Man and Johnny and Absorbing Man get taken to another part of Battle World, these other Beyonders take several other heroes and villains. They're like, well, let's have our own little side experiment thing. So I nominate Breen.
It's a sub-story of the main story.
Yeah. And it's characters that I kind of always wanted to see in Secret Wars too, like Daredevil and you know,
there's just nothing that Marvel can't ruin
it's ruined
by just they can't leave anything well enough alone. And I love Tom DeFalco, but I just no interest in it. And I say Jeff next.
I don't say it ruins it. It's just that it just shows that they have nothing of worth of value today.
Okay, ruin was probably too harsh a word, but yeah, I said they do not know how to leave well enough alone.
Speak of ruining things,
it doesn't enhance. It doesn't enhance the original story, but it is fun. If you want something extra, it is a fun.
That's all that counts. Who cares what some cranky old 61s?
Well, basically, what they're doing is they did the same thing. They did the same thing with the Beyonders as they did with Q. They had more Qs in Voyager, and now they're doing this, which is kind of a pain in the ass.
What is it? Q or what is that? Star Wars?
I thought you were talking about James Bond.
Breen, I thought you were 62.
Not yet. I'm clinging to 61 for 3 more months. Thank you very much.
If you include the time from conception, then yes. But
yeah, we don't anymore. that only counts if it can round us up to 21.
Yes, but we're only going from the time you're pushed out.
Right.
But all right. So I've got 9.
Pushed out twice. Yeah, pushed out when you die. Pushed out when you're.
All right. Number 9. World's Finest. So the only thing I liked was, and that was kind of being generous, is the Batmite one. And the Metamorpho one was okay. I didn't even read the Bumblebee because I didn't know who she was, and I just stopped after that. Because
Teen Titans, bro.
I just
Original Teen Titans, even before New Teen Titans.
Yeah.
I just realized at this point this was a bunch of short stories to push comics for later on.
As somebody else pointed out, why is it called Annual Superman Annual, but it has nothing to do with Superman Batman?
Yes, that was also another thing.
Only the main story, the Batmite, had anything to do with the actual story. So
The word annual has no meaning anymore in comics.
No.
At least, like I said, at least the price wasn't $10 or like $9 or like normally it usually is with these crap.
Okay, then number 8, Sirens of the City. Number 6, this is the ending. Just like the last time, I still haven't read all of them, so I need to go get them all together and read them. I think I got the first 2 or 3 issues read, so I can't say much about that one. 7, Secret Wars, with the older teenager cover.
Nice.
I'm enjoying this. It's fun, especially seeing Iceman the proper way.
Right?
Bigot.
No, I'm kind of a small it, but
I'm an average size it.
yes,
I don't want to know it.
I'm nowhere near the. I'm nowhere as bad as Zach, but yeah. I don't
You
have
are.
much. No, I'm working on it.
Leave Zach alone. He's a nice guy.
Leave
you were about to
Brittany
say-
alone.
I
Thought you
know.
were about to say
Leave
asshole.
Brittany alone.
I'm
Leave Zach
being nice to
alone.
Zach.
He's
You'll be nice. till
now
the
that
time
I'm
is not.
here, what were you like before I logged on, though? What
Me?
were
You
you
said-
saying then?
All I said was
Not you,
that,
not you,
oh.
Vinkman.
As Patrick Swayze said in Roadhouse, be nice till this time is not.
and the time to not is when you show up.
There
But-
you go. Well, that's how I roll.
Okay, next is the Hulk.
Oh, nice. That's the Philip Kennedy Johnson run, right?
Yes, it's a little too short. And I'm not a big fan of Ghost Rider, so
Is that the shaved side of the head lesbian Ghost Rider or one of the boys?
this is the one from
Is it Johnny?
it's the one from the Western Old West, I think.
Oh, the cowboy.
Oh.
Yeah, I think so.
Wow, that's a throwback.
He had a shaved side of his head too.
The Sam Elliott one. Oh,
What's his
Mark
name?
is saying it was World War II. A World War II Ghost Rider.
Was his name Alex?
Yeah.
World War
Okay.
II Ghost Rider.
I just knew it wasn't I just knew it wasn't the Dyke one. You meaning Norwegian?
Here at the Geeky Puppet Show, we have no problem with dykes.
Yeah, I mean they keep the water from coming in.
Yeah.
That's what I'm. That's
Or
what I meant.
and
That's why I said
Andy was
Norwegian.
he also had the funniest show ever for its time.
You
Yes.
identify as whatever you want to identify as long as you click this.
Are we talking about facial hair now?
I'm just gonna say, hey, identify what you want to identify as long as you subscribe and click like and watch my videos.
Exactly. And it's just really fun to see when you have the subtitles on controls to keep it from being dirty. When they try and put down Dick Van Dyke.
Well, if we want it dirty, we just don't have it in the channel.
No, but the subtitles go Richard Van Lesbian. I think it is when they do that. But
That may be the funniest thing I've ever heard Geekeasy say. That was pretty
it's
funny.
not mine. I stole it from somebody.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yes. Next is the Batman and Robin annual. I really liked this. I had never heard of Roulette before. And I had to think about Bloodsport. It's like, where have I heard that name before? And they finally, once they said who he was, okay. But really good story, really good art. And this is the way an annual is supposed to be. It's just, it takes the characters. It's not really, it's kind of an aside from, the
It's a
story that's
one-shot.
been going on. Yeah.
It's a one-shot story. Yep.
A little longer one shot, and then it's a reset sort of, so you can get on to the next story.
Mhm.
Really enjoyed it.
If you want to hear a dirty joke, I do have one.
I don't.
Let's go for it.
What's the difference between a gynecologist and a genealogist?
What?
One studies the family tree, the one studies the family bush.
Yes, I think I've heard that one before.
There you go, Zach.
Hey, you want to hear a dirty joke?
Go ahead.
Pig fell in a mud puddle. Want to hear a clean joke? Pig took a bath.
That's actually kind of funny. Okay, next. Harriet Tubman Demon Killer.
You're the only one I know who's getting that book.
Yeah, I know, but I picked up the first issue just because I was intrigued by it. I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was. I was just sitting there going, I have to check it out just to see what it is. But it's actually pretty good. There's just a tiny little bit, not of girl power. I mean, it kind of rears its head every once in a while, but not much. But it's still kind of fun. I mean, it's not, it's not bad. It's kind of fun.
Awesome.
That's good.
Next is something that it came out this week, and I had heard about it from the back of the other ones that are next.
I think Zach just hit the wrong button. He went there, goes. So he gets left. He's gone.
Okay, next is Jill and the Killers, #1. Only press.
You hit the wrong button, did you?
I don't know what I pressed.
Boy, I didn't know that I pissed you off that bad there, Zach. I mean, come on.
Well, he saw the joke with the white horse.
I went to go press a button and it closed out my screen. I was like, what the heck?
Okay.
Sorry.
So this one is a double sized, and it was $6.99.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and the cool thing is it's solid story until, there's like 2 things at the end. That's it, right there at the end with advertisement. That's it. But it's a really kind of a cool story. You have this young girl. I think that's her on the cover. She's been out of school for a year because her mother died in a car accident. Her father seems to think that the mother's missing, but the girl's like, no, she's dead. She's been pulled out of, father pulled her out of school because, till she could deal with it. And she's going back to school. And all of her friends have sort of moved on to other people. Like one of them's really pissed that she never got a hold of her.
Okay.
Because she's trying to, to deal. And so they had this new friend, and they are talking about, how there's this big thing about the, murder podcasts and stuff like that. Everyone's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, they're all into that, and so to try and get back in with her friends, she subscribes to a podcast
Called the Geeky Puppet Show.
Yeah, that they do unsolved crimes, and they try and tailor it to your town. So she does it, and then the next day, this thing shows up, and it's about kids from their school that disappeared 5 years apart to the day, and it's been 5 years, and so they go to start working on solving it, and then they realize the next day something else shows up, that the first one wasn't the thing that they ordered, so those were real murders, and and it's really good. I don't know if I described it well, but
show the book again. Jill. Okay. Who's the writer on that?
Huh?
Who's the writer on it?
That would be Olivia Cortero Briggs. Let's see if I.
Okay.
I've never heard of her, but
interesting.
And it's all just there's straight through, no ads. Pretty decent art. It's not
stuff you'd see in Dynamite or Boom Studios.
Yeah, I mean, and it's kind of good because they're dealing with uh, the story and you know her mom missing. Her mom was a cop, and so she's you know so you're dealing with her relationship with her friends and her dad and the cops that her mom used to work with, but also her trying to deal with her friends and solve this mystery and then find out who sent it to them, because it's like, wait a minute, these weren't
Uh,
people who were involved with that we sent away for. So
Under Quinn, True Crime Session is a Gen Z thing. Unsolved Mysteries wants a word with you.
yes,
That's true. That's true. I think
Love
it's not more. I mean, I know millennials who are into it too.
hey, I loved Unsolved Mysteries. Robert Stack was the
I
man.
know millennials and Gen X that like watching procedural shows that are on CBS.
NCIS, baby.
CIS, baby. Gibbs, he's my hero.
He's getting his own series. They're doing
wait.
like a prequel series
Andy,
Oh,
Gibbs.
that Mark Harmon is producing.
Which Gibbs this? Barry? Andy?
Yes, Barry.
Yeah, sure.
I'm sure his
cultured swine.
I'm sure his son. I'm sure. What's his name?
Is he
Real
staying
son
alive?
Is going to play him. But okay, then this is a back issue. I saw it. Invasive #1.
Ooh, that is invasive.
Colin Bunn.
Nice.
It is about people who have kind of an addiction to extreme plastic surgery and kind of body modifications.
Gnarly.
And
Wow.
there's a doctor who's trying to solve it, and a cop who's trying to solve. There's some people who are doing it without people's permission.
Hey, is that the girl from The Boys?
Yes, I think she might be in there somewhere. It took me a second, but I got it. But so I saw that and I picked it up, and then this is also I got the new issue. That's why this is #2.
Colin Bunn's been doing a lot of for Scott Comics. He's doing a lot of horror books.
Yeah, and I really love his horror stuff.
Which I think he excels more at that than running any IPs as far as Marvel or DC.
Yeah, and I'll pick up any of his horror stuff. It's really good because he does a really good job.
Because he was kind of mid when he was I think he was writing Wolverine or something like that, or in the early 2000s.
And then there's only one other thing that I got, which I have all the floppies on this, but I normally don't do this, but I had to get this.
Awesome, dude.
Huh?
Hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, I've read it already.
Okay.
I picked it up on Monday. I've already gone through it. It's only $30, but the only problem was, usually with these deluxe editions, they have extra stuff in it.
Nothing in the back.
This one, all it has is all the different variant covers. So that's a few pages. And then some of the black and white pages from the inside before they got it covered.
And it shows you how awesome a writer, or not writer, but just artist still.
Yeah.
That Mark Silvestri is.
Yeah, and see, this is one of the best Batman stories I've read in a long time.
It's based on the '90s, kind of like.
And it's well thought out. It's him being a detective. There's still action in there. You don't know exactly, how things are working out, and it's a new concept. How many times has Batman, been forced to solve stuff with the Joker? You haven't, as far as I remember.
I hope there's a sequel to that because I look forward more to that character.
Yeah, and it was just, and the art is just beautiful, and it's well written.
I hope that story gets adapted by the DC animated movies, but it probably won't.
Yeah, but they'll fuck it up.
Nah, they won't do that. They don't even touch it because they only go for the crappy stories.
Yeah, I mean, if they adapt it, they'll mess it up, just sort of like what they did with Crisis. But
speaking of adapting, our next person presenting his books.
Yes, I was just gonna say I was ready to go.
All right.
Assimilate or die.
We already talked about Sheena, so there's no point in going back into that.
Oh, we could talk about Joe Corral packaging that book.
Yo, the Steranko or
Yes.
the Nick Fury.
I gotta wait till next week to read that.
Nah,
My
it's
shop does not have any of those.
My shop's already know. I told them to pre-order now.
So do you? I mean,
I'm gonna have to special order some. Yeah.
so your store is like you. It does not want to be cool.
My store is pretty cool.
Well, I have
Yeah, except they don't have any. They don't order the agent, and they don't order Pine and Merrimack. Those two I have to. They'll get them if I order them, but
same here. That a lot of my shops don't order.
By the way, Zach, what number is Fantastic Four on now?
18, right?
I'm not pulling. I stopped pulling them. Probably like 13 or 14.
Oh, so the Sue Storm cover is like months away. 19
might be like March.
Okay. And
that's what, because it was in. I saw it in the Marvel the free previews book came out. So yeah, I would think March probably.
That's a nice cover.
That's
so
really nice
the other thing I got was the weird science Jack Dinosaur.
Yeah, we saw that.
Got it.
Yeah.
I almost got it, Breen.
And then Zach thought I'm not even close to being cool enough for this, so he put it back on the shelf.
No, I looked at that. I flipped through it. Really cool art in there.
Oh yeah, Vegman, the trajectory you're on, it's only a matter of time before you start gobbling these up too. Yeah, it says Al Williamson, Wally Wood. I said this is the pinnacle of these kind of comics, and
the pinnacle of sports entertainment.
I'm not. So this is. I mean, these are. I've read the first 3 stories of the first issue, and all 3 of them are fantastic. I said these guys were just better than everybody else.
I love the art. There's a story in there.
They knew it,
baby. There's a story in there where
Adam.
I was like, whoever. I must have been Wally Wood drawing. There's a black. Actually, basically, it's a girl, army girl with the black hair. I was like, the way they drew the dames in those books, I was like, dang, it's like.
That the first story. There's this manned space flight, and they know going in there's not much chance they're going to survive. They tell the 3 astronauts they can't gain any weight in the 10 months leading up to it because the weight is calculated down to the pound.
Mm-hmm.
And they do all that. But in the meantime, one of the astronauts falls in love with the daughter of the person in charge of the project.
Yeah.
So they get into space and they use too much fuel. And they find out that the girl is stowed away.
Oh no!
And the only choice they have is get rid of some of the weight or one of the people. Well, there's nothing else they can throw off of the ship, so they throw her off.
Oh my gosh!
And that's how it ends with her getting launched into space to die.
There was one.
This is
dark. There was one I saw.
Thanks for paying attention, Zach. I was telling the story to you.
No, I was listening. I was paying attention.
There was one where I don't know if it was in this book.
Yeah, they had to throw out the weight or throw out a person, and they threw out the girl.
You weren't paying attention.
There was one story. I don't know if it was in this book, but when where the guy was in his bathtub, he was pouring solution, trying to create the perfect girlfriend, and he kept getting ugly until he finally gets the good one, and then the maintenance guy comes in. That he's like, we got all these weird color chemicals draining down from this, the pipe complaints, and the girl ends up falling in love with the maintenance guy and leaves the other guy by himself.
The next story,
rough.
There's this couple
Roof
that the guy's he's in love with another woman, but his wife won't give him a divorce. So they come up with this idea that they're going to put themselves in suspended animation.
Mm-hmm.
So the guy goes to the bank and opens a $10 account, and then they go into suspended animation for 500 years. And that account is now worth $25 million. Dang. And they get the money because it's fingerprint identification. Yeah. And so he's the only one that can claim the money because people have been trying for hundreds of years. Well, it turns out they have basically eliminated disease by this time. So the germs they carry wipes out everybody on Earth. And so at the end, they're just a couple backbiting each other. So it's like,
dang.
I mean, I said these are 70-year-old stories now.
I think you're gonna see like the wife bumped off the other girl and just put herself in.
No, it's just, because she says she's going. It has it. This is all your fault, and the guy's going, "Oh, shut up." They got $25 million and nothing they can do with it.
Wow.
Wow, that's crazy. Bank fees would make that possible. Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
Yeah. You haven't deposited any new money in your bank account within the past 3 months. We're gonna start charging you over.
I was gonna say he probably eventually they close the account, but they had
Maybe, yeah.
Well, that's all. Oh, no, I take it back. I got one more thing. Flaming Carrot Annual.
Spicy.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Remember what else? I've got the Flaming Carrot Herbie the Fat Fury crossover issue.
Yes.
It's in Flaming Carrot 31. This is one of those indie books I found and discovered in the 80s. Apparently, this guy read 10,000 comic books in one sitting, and his head turned into a flaming carrot. That's his origin story.
What?
And Bob Burden, I think he might have died recently, but he was as out to lunch as it got. But I said this book was just, I loved it in the 80s.
That is just.
Of course, I was still drinking, but
that's just weird.
Oh, it is weird. Okay, this guy was friends with the guy that did Cerebus, if that gives you any indication of it. But I never liked Cerebus. But
I take it back. Whatever Zach was drinking was much more weirder.
It's water.
Anyway,
no, your container you had was just like
this is not new. This is not new. I've had this for months.
Is there Starfire in there?
No, this is One Piece stickers.
Yeah, Mark, have you read some Flaming Carrots? And you knew the name. Oliver Jackson.
Oh, Jackson, no.
And I'm not going back and giving it to you again. So sorry about your damn luck.
All right. We'll put the old guys out of bottom.
That's right. Where they
belong.
Yeah, keep it down there.
I don't have quite so far to fall that way.
Now I feel like I'm renting.
Yeah, my head.
He's gonna hit the ceiling.
Undead Quinn, don't drink Stanley cups. Don't use those. You probably get lead poisoning. There's like a big thing that just came out where people who drink out of Stanley cups are a very high chance that they're going to get lead poisoning.
Is that the ones that were at a Target or Walmart people are fighting over?
Maybe, probably.
Television recommendation. Anybody watching Feud started last night on FX?
I hadn't heard of it. I'm still trying to find Monsieur Spade. You can't find it anywhere for free. I'm gonna have to start yo-ho-hoing.
7 years ago, they did one that took place around the time they were making Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. It was the feud between Joan Collins and Betty Davis. Well, this is the same people, and this time it's some people who aren't nearly as well known against Truman Capote. And I don't know if you got if that name rings a bell.
I've heard his name before. Wasn't he an author?
Yes. Wasn't that on last night?
Yeah, it's the first two episodes. He wrote Breakfast at Tiffany's and In Cold Blood. That's what he's best known for.
Okay.
He was also just effeminate as fuck.
Oh,
but
because Philip Seymour Hoffman, if I'm not mistaken, Philip Seymour Hoffman played him in a biography movie.
Yes.
Speaking of
the guy playing him is a guy named Tom Hollander. He's got it down way more even than Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Oh wow!
Because the voice is spot on. It's weird. I said he didn't even make it to 60.
He died young.
But Treat Williams is in it, and it's weird seeing somebody who has died in some. It must have been the last thing he did.
It's like seeing Philip Seymour Hoffman in any movies.
Well, I'm just saying there's something that airing for the first time and the person's dead now. That's always a little weird. I mean, I watch movies that everybody is dust. But
Lance Reddick's last role.
Yeah, it was kind of like seeing that episode of Bosch.
Yeah,
and knowing the guy just died, it's unsettling a little bit.
Or watching The Crow, the first Crow, knowing that
But I definitely I don't know if it'd be if it'd be your guys' cup of tea, but first episode was like an hour and a half, and it just flew by. It's just, they're whoever makes these feuds just has that formula down perfect.
I really haven't watching syndicated shows at all. They're coming on cable and stuff lately. Mainly just watch a lot of streaming network shows. Paramount, especially with Tulsa King.
Well, yeah, this is a first run, so I said I've been, it's weird. I'm actually watching two things at the same time. So I'm watching the Spade show, which is really good. The Mayhem guy from Allstate is in the third episode.
Lance Henriksen didn't. I don't know if he's died within the last year or so, but he was on. So I just watched Rabbit Hole.
No,
towards the end. He's in the final
Lance
episode.
Henriksen didn't die. Lance Riddick, I think it was the black guy from.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, but he's talking about Henriksen though.
Yeah, 2023 was a shit year for great black actors that did great shows because between he and Andre Brower,
guy from
Don't do it.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
No. Homicide. You built Homicide first, sir.
He was on another show too. I remember it was a show or a movie where he was a Navy commander. It might have been on a submarine. I'm gonna find it.
That sounds familiar.
It's gonna drive me crazy.
But like I said, he was actually I knew him as the Brooklyn Nine-Nine guy first too because but Homicide is now my favorite show of all time, and he was the best character on a show full of outstanding characters.
That's actually the first thing. That's actually the first thing that he's credited with on Wikipedia is Homicide.
Didn't Munch start off on Homicide before he went to SVU?
Yeah,
he was also in Fantastic Four too, the one with the Silver Surfer. He was in that one.
Yeah, he was like one of the generals or something.
Yeah, and he was the voice of Darkseid in a Superman Batman movie.
Yeah, yes. Homicide had Ned Beatty, one of the Baldwins, Melissa Leo, if that name rings a bell. She won an Oscar for The Fighter. Yaphet Kotto. Andre Brower, Kyle Secor. His character was really, really good. He was Killer Frost's dad on The Flash. And that shows. I said it's not available anywhere unless you can find the series to buy because I guess music rights and shit's not streaming anywhere. But damn, that was a great show.
Yeah, he was in this Navy show called Last Resort. It was like there was a submarine that had received an order to launch nuclear missiles, and he was the commander on the submarine.
That sounds like a movie with Denzel Washington and Gene Hackman that was out a long time ago.
It was only once. It was the year before Brooklyn Nine-Nine came out, so it was right before Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
I was just looking up to see who all died in January. David Soul was one of them. Remember that? He died January 4th. Harry Johnson died as well, January 2nd. Harry Johnson was on MASH, Incredible Hulk, A-Team, LA Law, Dynasty.
Didn't he play Colonel, the first Lieutenant Colonel Blake?
That's McLean Stevenson.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And then you had Glynis Johns from Mary Poppins. She's the mother, Winfred Banks, in the original Mary Poppins. Died at 100. Can I guess? Guy who did the back to for his West Roland is Snake Oliver in Speed Racer and Emil Brandt in The Good German died at 51. Plane crash. Christian Oliver.
But Richard Van Lesbian is still alive. He's 99.
Peter Crombie is dead. He was Crazy Joe Delva.
Age finally caught Dick Van Dyke.
It did.
Because I saw an interview with him at 96.
Yeah.
He looked 80. Now he looks every bit of 98.
Yep.
Yeah, but have you seen his wife?
Yeah.
Smoking.
But yeah, I said but he still works out 3 times a week.
Oh, Lynn Marta died.
He was still dancing.
Lynn Marta.
Oh, I thought you said Anne Margaret.
No. Lynn Marta, she's in Fuse and Joe Kidd with Clint Eastwood. She's also in Footloose. Bill Hayes.
Yeah, Bill Hayes. He was like the patriarch of Days of Our Lives.
Yeah, Doug Williams.
Yeah. He had a good run. He made what, 98 or 9?
He was 98.
Hmm.
Then Joyce Randolph from the Honeymooners, who just recently
The
died.
last living cast member.
Yep,
Bill
99.
Clint is up there, and he's still going.
Let's see here. Marlena Shaw. She sang California Soul. She's a singer.
Yeah, there's a YouTube channel, like an in memoriam channel. It goes by year. And I'm ghoulish enough to where I'll turn on a year and see.
David Emke just died. He's the guy who, if you remember, watched Dawn of the Dead, the first movie. He was a helicopter pilot.
Yeah, I saw that.
Wow, January 20th. Norman Jewison. I guess he was on Heat of the Night and Moonstruck. 97 years old.
See what? So I was talking about David Ogden Stiers. Like LK said, R.I.P.
Yeah.
And I said, David Ogden Stiers died in 2018. But I was in my car and I typed dies by mistake. So I said another one said died, and Jay's thing it just showed it said Eric Breen died.
yeah. No, I saw
I saw
that.
that.
Mary Weiss died from the Shangri-Las. Oh.
Yeah.
David Ogden Stiers was in one of my favorite comedies, Better Off Dead.
Gary Graham, from Alien Nation, Star Trek, died in.
That's Richard Belzer, MK. He has the record for, I think he passed James Arness as the most episodes for a character in drama. Or it might be all time because he might have even played more Munch in more episodes than Kelsey Grammer's played Frasier.
Charles good. That's the guy you're talking about before.
The news guy, Charles Osgood. Yeah, 91, right?
91. And then Melanie, the folk pop singer. I guess he's saying Brand New Key and Lay Down.
Yeah. Yeah, those were both monster hits.
Yeah. She's 76.
Yeah.
Sandra Milo. She's a 10 actress. She appeared in Fellini's Juliet the Spirit and later became a well-known talk show host. Then there's Hinton Battle. I've never heard of this guy before, apparently, but he's been in a lot of stuff. Scarecrow on The Wiz, Broadway, and then he was in Dance in Chicago. I never heard of that. Quantum Leap, he was on there. He's also on Touched by an Angel, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
There was a guy who was in all these different horror movies. He played he was he was the counter guy in the first Terminator movie, and he just played small roles in all these different horror movies. Who just died really recently.
Cheetah Rivera, though, she just died.
His name.
Cheetah Rivera of January 30th. She's from West Side Story. Oh wow. Bye Bye. She also was in Bye Bye Birdie, Chicago, Merlin, 9, and yeah. Dang. Let's say how old she was though. But yeah, a lot of people just this year. He said that we had Matthew Perry, Tina Turner, Suzanne Sommer, Lisa Marie Presley, who all died last year. It's just crazy to figure out like who's next, pretty much. But anyway. We've been going on for a while, and Zach's falling asleep, or he's snow cooking. We don't know, but we'll figure out later.
You see any snow up here on my mustache? No. Negative, sir. You do not.
How's the little woman?
Really looking? Huh? What?
So how's the little woman?
She's good. She's doing good.
Oh, you adopted? I didn't know it.
No. Not yet, no.
All right. So, if you guys ever done so, please click like and subscribe. We just lost a subscriber earlier today, so we're back to being 7 subscribers away from getting to 500.
Come on, y'all. Find a friend who likes comic books and tell them about this channel.
And then
Find
if you
out
can't,
what? I don't have any of those.
Has your girlfriend subbed to us yet?
No, she has not.
At
she doesn't.
that, are you embarrassed by us?
No, not at all.
I mean, you should be, but
Jeezies. Oh, you're talking about the doctor from Terminator. Okay, the
The
guy.
first one?
I thought that was Lance Henriksen was a cop. I don't know who the doctor was though. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I just literally have to go to Terminator IMDb and it'll pop. But anyway, instead of us just saying charades, he was the bald guy in that one thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's only in the first three Terminator movies. That really narrows it down,
Half of them.
right? Stop by tomorrow. We're gonna be reading Nova number 12.
The man called Nova, the human rocket.
Yes, the man who is convinced that Peter Parker killed his uncle Ralph. This is Richard Ryer.
He's right.
oh, son
That's
of
funny.
a buck!
He just found out. That,
I gave
Never-
up on a game I was watching, and it turned into a huge upset.
Oh wow.
so tomorrow we'll have Nova. It's our first Nova reading on the channel, actually. And it'll be issue number 12. Yeah, it's where Spider-Man and Nova go at it, and then they have to go up against a command called Photon. And then they actually continues in our second reading, which will be around 8:30, 25. With, well, this is Amazing Spider-Man number 171, continuation of the story. So look,
So
we got
Monica
Spider-Man.
Rambeau steals Photon's name after Carol Danvers steals her name.
Well, Photon was
Yeah, he was a one-off.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
he was a small little green man.
And that was, yeah. Nova was a fairly successful book, but they thought, hey, why don't we juice it up a little bit by having him cross over with Spider-Man? So
Mark
to
Wolfman,
close out the first year,
yeah,
he appeared in Nova, and unfortunately, it didn't work because the book only lasted 25 issues total. But
I did like it though. You had Sal Buscema doing the art on there with Frank. I think it was Frank Giacomo doing the inking. And
I commented. So the first 14 issues of Nova were fantastic.
Mark Wolfman writing too as well.
Yeah, the second half of it was. They got away from what made it cool was, hey, they took him out in space and they brought in Nick Fury and S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Yellow Claw, and then it just kind of got more ambitious. And I think people liked the grounded version better. But that's why Marv Wolfman was writing Fantastic Four at the time. That's why the Nova story finished in Fantastic Four from like 206 through the storyline finished in 214, but they wrote the Nova characters out somewhere along the way in that series, that storyline.
And then on Saturday, look for issues 7 and 8 of Jeff Johns' Hawkman. Reading that as well. So possibly an Iron Man story on Sunday, followed by another Spider-Man story with our beloved Jameson returning as the Spider Slayer. And possibly
Spider Slayer.
Yes. So a lot of cool stuff coming up on the channel for the weekend. So if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. And like I said, drop it down in the Ko-Fi bin. Let us know, what you like. As long as the Marvel DC reading, you're eligible, even for just $1, you can help us choose our next reading. Thank you to everybody who subscribed.
And if you ask real nicely, maybe Zach will come out of retirement and read with us again.
Honestly, I thought about it, but I don't know. Zach just doesn't want to read with us anymore.
Well, I won't be here Friday.
We'll even read a Fantastic Four so he can be the useless Torch.
No.
Oh yeah, that would definitely.
No. We'll read him later so he can be the other useless Torch, Toro.
That would just be useless and racist. Because
Well,
I'm
you're not
gonna
reading as the bad guys and the Vaders, are you?
Like I'm not gonna use a Spanish accent. Toro, toro, toro.
No, Toro wasn't Spanish though.
No,
Oh,
he's
I thought he
white.
was.
No, he was an American kid. Just had the name Toro.
Oh, Toro.
He's just culturally appropriated names.
Yeah.
The more you learn.
No, MK. I'm not gonna be happy. I'm gonna be at a church lock-in with 20 kids. I'm not gonna be happy.
Oh,
I'm gonna
you're
be
supervising?
deprived.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I went to one of those when I was a kid, and our church found out our church was actually part of the Underground Railroad,
Oh, nice.
and there was a basically a small tunnel in the basement of the church, and it was the coolest thing in the world to 12-year-old me.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I didn't remember, and I forgot it was a lock-in. It was a Friday night, and we all stayed at I don't remember where we slept at the church, but we,
There's no sleeping at a lock-in.
I was gonna say,
when you're a
like,
kid.
I was gonna say, eventually Eric found his way out of the tunnel.
no, I'm still down there.
He just made it his home.
That's what it looks like. The whole house is actually just a setting he built up in the underground pit. Yeah.
That was close to 50 years ago. I wonder if that's still accessible.
I don't know,
Which
but
should be like a historical landmark or something.
I want to put Pixel in there and dress him up as the Mole Man.
Well, the thing is,
that'd be terrifying.
It only took about 15 seconds to walk through the tunnel, so I don't know how. It's almost like you had to go. I don't know what purpose it served, but yeah, but we were told it was part of the Underground Railroad. Who knows? Might just been a tunnel in the bottom of the church.
Like 20 seconds, you're in there. That's just called a
Yeah.
doorway.
Is that
then you have to go into the church, go into the tunnel, and leave the church. So that's why you just walk. Yeah,
That's for people who want to leave the service early.
yeah.
Zach goes so you can get your car.
I sit in the back, so if I do need to leave, I can go out. Nobody sees me. Yeah.
That was never my case. We always had to sit in the front. And it's like so it's like then they let you
I'm also
go.
really tall, so like you ever sit behind somebody who's really tall in a movie theater, and you're like, "Hey, slouch down" or something.
That was my brother, and we were at NXT show, a wrestling show in Chicago, and this couple comes back from like the Comic Con I was going at the same time, and they sit down in front of him. The guy's like 6'4". My brother's 5'7". And he has to sit he's like, of course, the guy sits in front of me. Like, he wasn't here. It just has to be that freaking tall. And I was laughing. He's like, well, just look over at the Titantron. That's what I've been looking at. That's because you can't see anything else.
Yeah.
We're on ground floor seats though.
How tall are you, Zach?
I'm 6'2". My brother is 6'3". He's young. My younger brother is taller than me.
Hey, Fear Monarch. To be honest, everything I go to is watching the backs of people.
I don't know, Rhaegar. How tall is Charlie Kirk? I never see him standing. He's always sitting down when I see him on video.
Bankman, my brother. Sorry. MK, my brother is actually 6 years older than I am. I'm the youngest.
I think I might be the shortest of everyone here.
I'm 5'9".
My dad's family has
almost
no
9.
idea why.
I'm
so
5'7", 5'8", so.
Yeah. I may be somewhere in between that at this point. So I'm sure I've probably started the slow shrink.
I'm getting to that point where I instead of growing taller, I started growing wider.
Oh yeah, I started that. Yeah, yeah.
But Baron Trump is like Nephilim height. What the hell? What do you consider Nephilim height? Like 12'4"?
Nephilim height is gigantic.
I know. I was like,
it's like 14, 20 feet.
I was gonna say because
he's a tall kid though. What is he? 14, 15? He's giant.
I would say Nephilim is
Norse
blood Andre the Giant is still considered short compared to basically what our Goliath was. I guess you'd say.
Yeah, Goliath was 9 feet, I think, if my Sunday school knowledge is correct.
Wow, 6'7" already.
God.
Yeah.
That kid's gonna have a career in the NBA if he.
No, he's already canceled because his father.
Oh yeah, he'd have to have LeBron James skill for that.
Oh my God!
Isn't he kind of mentally challenged anyway? I mean,
no.
Is he?
No.
I thought he had some sort of autism or something.
I
like
would love for him to join like WWE wrestling as the Baron,
that.
Baron Trump,
I thought his basketball nickname would be too. The Baron.
the Bloody Red Baron. Sorry, Mike Baron. But like I said, it's an awesome name though. But anyway, we're kind of rambling. I love that somehow we gained 2 more people watching it. So we went down to 9 and went back up to 12. But
well, they must think that something cool's going to happen after we leave, and they want to be early for it.
they're laying like, if you're just tuning in, please subscribe and hit like button. But nope, one of them left. But Baron Trump in the NBA, there's no white guys in the NBA.
There's a few. They're all from
They're
overseas.
European.
They're all, yeah, I was going to say they're all European. The last American white guy in the NBA was Larry Bird.
Right.
Well, no, that's not true because, the one white guy Kim Kardashian has ever been with, oddly enough, was an NBA player.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh.
What are the odds?
Dirk's
Or
not-
as one of my characters on the Geeky Pub said, what are the odds?
I don't know. But the odds are we passed 2 hours. So welcome to hour 3.
Woohoo.
All right. Trusty would be happy if he was here, but all right, we're kind of rambling, so let's end it right here. We'll see you guys tomorrow at
So much to
7:15.
live for, though.
I will.
I'll allow you to go first, Zach.
Good night, Gracie.
Good night, Gracie.
Good night, Breen.
Good night,
Good night,
Mary Ellen.
Jinx.
Bendis.